Hi, welcome to Lupus Speaks Podcast, where we shine a spotlight on lupus who are bossing it in business, inspiring others, and making a mark in the lupus community. I'm your host, Shadrika Holmes, on a mission to showcase the incredible journeys of lupus warriors turned entrepreneurs, influencers, and advocates. So get ready for empowering stories, insightful conversations, and a dose of inspiration. This is not just a podcast, it's a platform for you to dream again. So join me as we explore the possibilities beyond lupus and celebrate the resilience of lupus community. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Lupus Speaks Podcast, and my name is Shadrika Shante as your host. And today we have Miss Brittany Smith. I'm super excited to talk to you today. I'm such a fan. I love all of your work, and I am truly inspired by your story. So, for those that do not know you, could you give us a brief introduction of your lupus journey? And how has it made that experience kind of transfer over to being a influencer? Because I see you as an influencer.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So my lupus journey, I was diagnosed in September of 2013, but I have been experiencing symptoms since I was 15. So back in 2003, that's when I had my first blood clot. They discovered I had a blood clot in my left leg at the time, and they thought nothing. Well, they thought something of it, but they just thought it was like, all right, it's just a one-time thing. And the years went on. I had my son at 19. When I was 20, I had another incident where I had another blood clot. And before you knew it, I was getting blood clots all the time. I eventually started to lose my hair because of it. And it kind of brought me up to my diagnosis in 2013. And I felt alone. I didn't really know anyone else who had lupus besides Nick Cannon and Tony Braxton. Those are the only two people I knew at all. It's like you look around and you're like, okay, I have lupus, but what does that mean? And if your diagnosis was anything like mine, our doctors didn't really have much of an explanation either. There was like really no plan. It was kind of just like, oh, we'll just kind of see how it goes. And once that happened, once I felt like really alone, I decided to start talking about, not then and there, but I think maybe a couple of years later, maybe around 2014, maybe a year later, 2014, 2015, I started to post about what I was going through on Instagram. And, a couple of people started reaching out, and I was able to build like somewhat of a community. And then through the years, I just got more comfortable talking about my hair loss and talking about me being in the hospital and talking about how it has been being a mom while also dealing with lupus. And
yes.
Whew.
Yes. So I had my first daughter in 2014, and then I just had a baby in 2022.
Congratulations!
Oh, girl, thank you. But it is, especially when you were told that you could not have kids. So to experience it all while dealing with lupus is definitely a lot versus people who get their lupus diagnosis after they already had kids. So it's definitely a big difference.
It is a huge difference. Like, I had my son before. They told me the same thing, like, oh, you probably won't be able to have any more kids and all this other stuff. So I just put it in my head after I had my son, like, okay, well, I'm just not gonna have any more kids. So I would love to hear like more about your journey with like pregnancy and being diagnosed, because that's a whole different ballgame.
Diagnosed at 20. So I feel like at that point in time, everybody's kind of like fresh out of school, or they're still in school. They're like, depending on what route you went, most people were back in that time, we was going to college. That was our goals. So being diagnosed so young, it was kind of like, and being told that I wasn't going to be able to have kids, it definitely kind of took me off guard, because all I was looking forward to being was a mom. I didn't really care about school too much. I just wanted to be a mom. Right. So I feel like it led me in some situations, because that was my focus point at that point. Like, I'm trying to find me a baby zaddy, a husband, like, what we doing? So that's pretty much where my mind was at, on treatment. So I think I was already introduced to Benlysta. No, I wasn't. I think the only treatment that I was on was just Cellcept, prednisone, and Plaquenil.
Okay.
And then on that, my lupus was regulated. And at that point, the doctor I was seeing, it was actually my kidney doctor. And he was like, if you want to have children, this is the time to do it because your labs are really, really good. And my rheumatologist was against it. He was the one that told me not to try to get pregnant. And so when my kidney specialist told me to go ahead and go for the go, it took me about 3 months and I was already pregnant. Like it was so the guy I was dating at the time, it was just kind of like, let's do it. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And my daughter came. And during that process, I mean, it wasn't hard. I didn't really have a hard pregnancy, really. I was at the high risk doctor just because they wanted to make sure and monitor me. But I didn't have any issues in either one of my pregnancies.
Okay.
So I think it's because I waited until my lupus was regulated. However, both times after I had my children, 6 months after, I went into a huge flare. So both times I had, so it's like your body the baby is a steroid in your body is what they told me. So once that steroid is gone, over time, then your body kind of builds up a flare.
Were you taking medication during your pregnancies?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you can. I think the first time I did take prednisone at like the lowest dose as needed.
Okay.
And I took Plaquenil, but at that time I wasn't really, because I was already feeling good, I didn't take it consistently like I would have if I wasn't. So I know a lot of people are afraid of that, and I think both at that time my doctor was just more so concerned. We were really planning for the postpartum portion of it than the pregnancy, because he was like, "There's nothing wrong with your body, as far as like the things that grow the baby, my uterus and organs and everything like that was fine." So it was like, you can have a baby, you just need to monitor yourself post-op, making sure that you're back on your medications and things like that, because that steroid is now removed, so you will have to deal with the flare. I say this all the time. I say, if I could tell myself something, I think that I would have gave myself a little bit more time to fully understand lupus and what it really takes to, because I wasn't thinking about myself being in the flare while being, being a mom. You know what I'm saying? I was just thinking about being a mom. And then, when the flares come up, it do hinder. Like if my hands is swollen, I can't change that baby diaper, so you really have to have a support system and people that'll help you and jump in and do what they got to do, because you literally just can't do it. I'm blessed enough to have that too, because if not, it would be hard.
Whew. Yeah. I got diagnosed when he was 6 or 7, and even then it was hard. I was so tired. I look back and I'm just like, oh man, thank God for, like you said, having help, because I couldn't do it. I literally could not do it. You feel so guilty. I feel like there's a lot of guilt that comes along with, like, even though we have a reason, sometimes I don't feel like that's reason enough.
Not when you suffering, no. I don't want to be the parent that was just like, all they remember is me being sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, my mom was always in the hospital. And then they start to like wander off and do whatever because I'm not able to be there. I'm always in the hospital. All they remember is the times when I was sick.
Right.
So that's always been in the back of my mind. Lupus flares usually come out in my skin. So I'm just like covered in hives. It's not like kidney issues or liver issues or heart issues. It's really just my skin. So you just take some Benadryl and you just keep it moving,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. let's go back to you being a quote unquote influencer and like how the journey of you having lupus brought you to, the wigs portion of it all. Cause I mean, that's kind of like another way of me seeing you as you
Mm.
putting them wigs on and you styling it like it's your hair, girl. It came from your scalp. So how you get from like how did that inspire you by having lupus to transition into that?
What's interesting is that like I don't even think it was me talking about lupus that got me into the wig influencing stuff. I think that how we were talking about earlier, I started going on TikTok talking about a heartbreak that I was going through. I think when I was going through the process, that's what a lot of wig companies would reach out to me and say, "Hey, we saw this video of you doing your hair and makeup. Can you do this for us?" And I think it just so happened when I finally hooked up with Love Me Hair. That's the people I work with right now. They're the ones that were more interested in like. But we also want to hear about your story. Like we want you to be showing your scars on these videos. We want women to see that like you're wearing wigs and you are still going like you're still going through the process, like you can transform your looks, and it just kind of just happened. And I love it because when people see my videos and they see the scars, most people or a lot of people don't really know. They're like, what's that?
Right.
And I never take offense to that because I'm like, people genuinely do not know. And I'm always like, I have lupus and this is where, like, this is how it started. And it opens up a bigger conversation. Because, like you said, like, when we were diagnosed, no one was having these conversations. Like, you have all these, I guess, lupus influencers now. I don't know if I want to call it, or maybe lupus advocates. You have
Yeah.
all these lupus advocates now. And I'm like, that did not exist years ago.
No. That's one thing I do appreciate about social media is that there is an opening door to see other opportunities or see other people that are going through what you're going through versus you just kind of dealing with it alone. You're like, oh, okay, I can relate to that. Or like, girl, what you eat? Because I need to, get on that. So it's just helpful to have that space and community to be able to see that I'm not alone. It's not just me. And it's bigger than that. It's just even seeing other people's dreams come to life. And it's like, I could do that. You know what I'm saying? Even though I have lupus or I have some restraints, I could still do this. So I think that's for me is like, it opened my eyes to that, it's not just the rich and famous or the wealthy, or you don't have to be a basketball player or, something big or celebrity to access those same things. So I think that's what social media did for me. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I can buy my house.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I can still live life despite like I feel like it really showed me that lupus is not the end.
yeah, yeah,
It's when I drove away from my doctor's office, my day of diagnosis, I just remember getting in my car and crying all the way home because I'm like, what does this mean for my son? What does this mean for me? If something happens to me, who's going to take care of him? And I'm only 25 or 26 now. What is my life going to look like in 10 years if I'm already having all these issues and you don't know. You don't know. I mean, now we know because we see it, people talking about it. But for people like us that were diagnosed pre social media, I guess, it was
yeah.
kind of just like so much anxiety attached to that diagnosis.
Like the person who went with me, she
Mhm.
immediately started crying. But I was like, "What is that?" Like I
Oh, somebody
never.
went with you? Oh,
Yeah, it
that's
was.
nice.
It was a hot mess, but actually, I really appreciate her. This lady to this day. Like I wish I could have a conversation with her, but um, it was my ex boyfriend at the time. It was his mom. And as I was like going through my, like, I guess losing weight, losing hair, and just, she was just seeing, she was like, something wrong with her. She's sick,
Mm.
something wrong with her. And she was like, she took off of work and drove me to an urgent care just for me to get checked out. And that's what they said. They took some blood work, and that same day I got the lupus diagnosis. And
What?
she just immediately started crying. I was like, I don't understand. Like, I don't think it took me a while to understand what it really was. Like, it took me about a good 3 or 4 months before I really understood what I needed to do.
Okay.
because it was like, okay, I had the diagnosis, I had the medications, but I wasn't really taking them. I wasn't really, taking it seriously because I just was not seeing the results of it yet. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like once I started getting in and out of the hospital and I couldn't eat and I couldn't speak and I had to wear a diaper, and then I was like, oh,
Mm.
I probably should take this
Yeah.
medicine.
Yeah. That's so
Yeah.
real though, because I'm the same way. Like I was getting the blood clots, but I still, even though I had the lupus diagnosis, I had been getting blood clots. So I was just like, eh. And they would say, "Oh, we think you should go on prednisone. We think you should go on plaquenil." And I'm like, "No, I'm okay. I'm fine." And I actually went years without taking those medications. It wasn't until recently, like I'm talking about recent, where last July I had the worst flare of my life, to the point where I would, like, my legs were swollen, my hands started swelling up for the first time, and I'm like, I started to get scared. Like, oh, this is not a joke. Like, yeah, I've
Mm-hmm.
always taken lupus somewhat serious, but to feel it in my body like that, I was so scared, so scared. I was like, God, am I gonna make it? Like that's what kind of time it was on.
Yeah, I think for sure I was not thinking about none of that when I got after I started feeling everything and not being able to walk and not being able to talk,
Whew.
and then like my mama having to do literally everything. I was eating baby food
Oh
because I
my
could not
God.
swallow. And so I think that I wasn't thinking about anything else, but I just don't want to suffer. Like, I don't want to feel this no more. I don't want to be like this no more. And I just was ready to tap out. Like, I just didn't
Mm.
want to have no parts of it. And my mama refused. She refused to let that be the thing. Because, at that point, they put me in hospice.
Mm.
And,
What?
yeah, like, I feel like that's the main reason why I got this disability quickly, because I was in hospice. They had already counted me out. Like, my mama was like, baby girl, I don't know what they talking about, but you're not about to die.
Yeah.
And she was feeding me baby food, and she was changing my diaper, and she was working night shift, and she would stay up with me the whole day and do my doctor's appointments, and then go to work and come back and do it all over again for a good 6 months. And
Mm.
then once I started getting the insurance and disability, then they would pay for my occupational therapy and my speech therapy, because I had to learn how to walk and talk all over again.
Whew.
So it was a tough time, but I'm still here because I'm
Amen.
old now. Look.
Amen. You look good, sis.
Thank
Okay.
you, thank you.
That's it's no joke. Like I feel like people don't, within our community, we know how it affects us and everyone else and how serious it can be. But I feel like outside of that, like there, unless you're really close to someone with lupus, you still don't really know how it affects people. Like,
Yeah, I think I said this maybe yesterday or earlier this morning. I was saying that having these interviews with you all is kind of like open me up to more than just my story.
mm,
Because, you know, there are some people I've talked to where they've never been in remission. They've always dealt with severe, symptoms. And I'm like, oh, dang, that sucks. Because, I've had periods of time where I'm not sick. I'm just fine.
yep.
So it must suck for them to not be able to, have a place, a time where they're not in pain. So it just kind of opened me up, just especially if I, call myself a advocate, and I can't really advocate for just my story. I need to be
Right.
able to understand and empathize what other people are going through. However, I still want to highlight how we come up. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, that's just kind of like how I got started into doing this, because I just wanted to see the positive light of, what lupus can be outside of the stories.
How, and you know what? I love what you're doing because, like you said, my story or your story, we're not the only stories out there, and it is like just hearing you saying that you were in hospice. That never crossed my mind. It's just you think that your experience is the only one that is out there until you start hearing others, and you're like, okay, I thought I had it bad. No, like
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah, I know, just watching some other loopies, I'd be like, man, I'm gonna pray for them. But I'm just glad that, I could be a support, or just them hearing my voice, or hearing other people's stories will help them realize that they can get through it too. Because I
Yeah.
feel like that's what I needed, during those times, is seeing somebody else kind of get through it. Like, instead of the, oh, this it for me, you know what I'm saying? And it make you scared too, because it's like, oh God, is that what I gotta look forward to? Like, am I gonna be like that? So
Yeah.
to see people like you, show up and still show that there's other ways to go about it, and take responsibility for your health. So, I mean, I'm inspired by everybody.
Me too. I am too. And I look at so many, like you said, I look at so many of us and I'm like, wow, that's even the content. Like some of the content, I'm like, wow, like this is perfect. Like my schedule is crazy because I get sent like 10 wigs a month. And then I have to yeah, so I have to have this content out. And sometimes they ask me to do it over again. And I'll be stressed out. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? And then I sleep a lot. I'm not going to lie, I sleep a lot. So,
Girl, you are so blessed that your son is older. And
okay.
you can do that, because my daughter is 14 months. There is no rest around there.
Woo! I don't know how you do it, sis, because
I don't know, by the grace of God,
yeah,
I'm gonna give him his credit, because baby,
God is
mm-mm.
good. Can I tell you that like this year, I've always talked to God and I've always had a relationship with God, but this year I told myself that I was really going to trust Him, and not just say I trust Him, like really trust Him. It's been hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's been really hard, but I just was like, I pray every day. I've been in my Bible. I've been doing my devotionals, and I couldn't have gotten through any of this without God, like at all, not even a little bit. He has
Yeah.
really like made a way for me in ways that I myself could not have imagined. Literally.
Yeah, for me too. Like, just even everybody responding and be more than willing to be on the podcast is like an opportunity for me, because it's like, one, I get to tell my story. I get to highlight everybody else's story. But then I was just hoping that it would create other opportunities for me. And I know that it will. I'm just being patient.
Yep.
And then I'm learning from you guys. Okay, like, girl, how you get these people to like
Yep.
reach out to you? Like, is that hectic? Is that crazy? It's just, 10 wigs a month. Because, I mean, your creativity is A1. And just
Thank
even how you
you.
put it together is awesome. So,
Thank
how
you.
do you how do you plan all of that out? Or do you plan it all out? Or you just randomly just kind of come up with an idea, and then you know what to do with the wig as soon as you see it? Like, how does that come along?
Sometimes they'll send me a script. I mean, half the time. Sometimes they'll send me a script. Sometimes they'll just be like, Brittany, just do whatever you want. Um, but when I first started, I would just do whatever. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I would look at all the other wig girlies and compare myself to them, and then I was like, Brittany, most of them are not bald. Most of them don't have scars in their scalp. You need to use what you got and really showcase that. But you know what? I really got started for real, for real. Have you ever heard of like a media kit?
I have.
Okay. I went on Canva. I made myself a little media kit, and I just started sending my stuff off to different wig companies at first. Some of them were already hitting me up, but they were not none of them that I really wanted to work with. But that's how I really was like able to get a lot of people, a lot of wig companies to notice me. And now I'm trying to move into like a different direction. I still want to do the wig stuff, but I also want to I would really love to be a part of like a Dove Beauty campaign. Like to show my bald head and show my scars and really just put it out there about lupus. Congratulations.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. It's been a journey with us too, but
That's okay. God, I see what you've done for I'm listen, I
girl, it's gonna happen for you. It is.
Did you
Cause
ever have a point in your life though that you just felt like it wasn't gonna happen?
no,
No? Maybe that's
no.
my problem. I gotta change my perspective. I gotta change my mind because like after I went through my heartbreak slash healing journey, I just knew that the next man that I met was gonna be my husband. And then I met somebody and he seemed great. But he wasn't. And my dating life has been thus far it has been um Interesting.
Interesting. Yes, because I seen the speed dating. I saw that video and I was like, dang, it was just the women there, not the people that work there. They did not just come from behind the bar.
Okay.
I hope y'all didn't pay for that. And if y'all did, y'all
It
didn't
was
get y'all money
free.
back.
It
Okay.
was free because people were like, "Did you pay for that?" I'm like, "No, we didn't pay for it." But shoot, it was so ghetto. Like, not you pulled the security guard from outside and the cook from the back. I just said, "This is this is definitely a story." I'm definitely.
Thought that I would be alone because I always wanted a family. So, I've always been with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think picking the right person probably took me a minute. And I'm just learning a lot about myself and my attachment styles and like, why do I attract myself to these type of people?
Wait, what's your attachment style?
Anxious attachment.
Oh, sister, me too.
Yes, I mean I have like pick me type of personality. Like, oh, I just want you to want me like how I
Yeah.
want you. And then I had to like break down and figure out why I was so attached like that. And I mean, we all got backstories, but most of the time it generated from your daddy issues.
Okay.
So I think that just working through those things, like I really had some. It was, let me see, I want to say it was 2019, 2018, 2019 when me and my daughter's father broke up and I got my own place and everything. This was for my first daughter. And I just went through a journey where I was like, God, like I'm tired of picking the wrong person. And, I'm just going to give myself to you. And so that's when I just devoted my life to God. I went to Bible study. I did, just all kinds of stuff that was going to church all the time, doing my devotion, getting up at 5. So like you go to 5 a.m. to go to the gym. I was 5 a.m. I was praying, doing my devotion, then get on the 6:30 prayer call. And then I was just like, I didn't entertain reality TV anymore. I only read books. I listened to gospel music. It was just like, that's what I wanted to do. And then God first, I think that's what it took for me to kind of find my person now. And then just even being in this relationship, I'm learning that you have to keep your eye on God, even though you got a man. Because once that distraction is off, child, y'all be having all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
So, just keeping, even just us, I just told him this recently. I was like, babe, we got to get back on our knees because the way things are going right now, I feel like we being attacked. I was like, we so close to where we trying to go, now the enemy trying to attack us in our relationship, so we need to pray.
Yeah.
And so that was a big thing for me when it came to choosing my next partner, is that I need to be able to showcase that part of myself. Because I've always been a church girl. It's not been consistent, but I just know that's where my heart was at. That's where I was rooted. And so I really wanted to make sure I chose a partner that was rooted in that as well. And so I was blessed enough to get that. And you will too, girl.
I needed to hear that. It's so interesting that you said that you started waking up at 5 o'clock. That's one of the reasons why I started waking up at 5 a.m. I wake up and I didn't want to start scrolling my phone first thing in the morning anymore. I was like, okay, get in my Bible app, at least read a verse, at the least. And then while I drive to work, I listen to gospel music and I try to talk to God because I'm at a place in my life, and that's why I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you said this to me, but I'm at a place in my life where I'm like, God, it's up to you. I have chosen the wrong men, and I've always had a man, some type of man in my life. It's usually been a struggle. And speaking of like attachment styles, I have that anxious attachment style, and it really flares up when I meet a man that's not for me and who triggers me to be anxious all the time and want to be like, well, pick me, why don't you see me, and it's like, well, Brittany's not for you, keep it moving. And
not only that, I've also learned through this process is how you see yourself. You know what I'm saying? And how because I have a tattoo on my body I got years ago. And it says, we accept the love that we think that we deserve. Think about yourself is what you're gonna keep on you're gonna keep on attracting.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like I always attach myself to people like pick me, because I didn't think that I was worthy of being picked, of being
Mm.
chosen. So it was like once I started flipping the script and thinking like, no, I am that girl. Like I am that prize. Like you be lucky to even get me on the phone.
Okay. Okay.
So once I started viewing myself how God see me, because that's where it's at. It's in the book. You know what I'm saying? It's in the
Right.
word. How He is. You already chosen. You already this. You already that. You already. So it was like a validation that I didn't need from a man no more. And when you get
Woo!
that, it
Yes.
switch your whole energy.
Yeah. I feel that, and that's another reason I started going to the gym, because I didn't like what I looked like. It was easy for me to be on camera and pretend to be this person that's like so in love with myself, and I'm just so confident, because I wasn't. I wasn't confident, and I feel like I'm finally building myself up to be the person that I've always been. I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't recognize her, so I'm like, no, girl, you're gonna get up, you're gonna go to the gym, you're going to take care of yourself, you're not going to pour into relationships that don't pour into you, you're gonna love yourself, and that's what I've been doing.
And
So
you can see it. And you can see it. You can see that you're more confident in that, you believe in yourself. Because, I mean, I did see some of your videos of you being sad and going through that experience. And to see you now, like, you could definitely see that you are not focusing your energy on what wasn't healthy for you anymore.
yeah,
So, yeah.
you know what's so
That's
major about today?
what?
Today is February 16th, 2024. And literally exactly 2 years ago today, I recorded my week 4 video of me crying on camera. Talking about how a man did not want me, how a man did not love me, had a girlfriend. And I feel like this is such it's such a well, I just thought about this, like it's such a pivotal moment. Like 2 years ago I'm speaking into the camera crying about a man, and now I'm on camera with my new friend talking about our lives and how we have overcome so many things. That's
Yeah.
major.
And sometimes you don't see it at the time when you having that heartbreak and that sadness, that was the thing that was going to get you to the next thing, the next level. Like, it's like when they say that book closed or that chapter ended, it's another chapter on the other side of the page. And so just keeping that in mind, like I said, it's not over for you. You go get that man, sis. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like keeping your mind open to the possibility of anything is possible at this point. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your heart is desired, you know what I'm saying? You're going to get that because that's God's promise to you. So as long as you focus on God's promise, what He's asked you to do,
Mm-hmm.
then you receive that back. You know what I'm saying? And then for me, even though we get off path and we, do our own things, or we don't hold ourselves accountable for certain situations that we chose to be in, because we have to accept that. Like, I chose this, God. You told me not to do that, man. You told me not to do that. You know what I'm saying? And just being like, taking ownership, remove your pride and just walk. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
The journey gets easier. It does.
So
And
you know
look at
what?
you
I
now.
I actually have a question for you, because I feel
Duh.
like since I talk a lot about dating and relationships on my TikTok, I always get this question. I never really know how to answer it because I'm not in a relationship like that. But how do you navigate having lupus and being in a successful relationship?
Whew, that's a good question. So I think that choosing the right partner is probably the number one thing that you can do for this, because being vulnerable in that way, it's not easy to do.
Mm.
And so, and this is his first time experiencing me in a flare, because after our daughter, so this is his first time ever seeing me be like this. And this is my first time really being vulnerable enough to allow myself to be as sick as I would, I can be. You know what I'm saying? Because you kind of hide like, I'm all right, I'm okay. But no, this man done had to wash me. You know what I'm saying? I have to clean up when I accidentally cheat myself. Like just being honest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's had to, do everything for me. Make sure I got my medicine. Make sure, so you gotta really like make sure that the person that you choose can handle that.
Mm-hmm.
um and that they can be, yeah, that they can be strong enough to like carry it, because people that love you, it's hard for them to see you in that space and see you like that. So he had to be able to be strong enough to carry you, physically and mentally.
Right.
Because sometimes when you suffering, sometimes you find yourself saying things that you probably really don't mean, and he got to be able to be like, no, no, you're beautiful. I
Mm.
love you just the way that you are, and you gonna get through this. We gonna get through this.
Oh.
And that I'll take off of work if I gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm fortunate enough to be able to, one, see how he would handle this situation and know he wasn't going to give up on me and leave me, because I've had those situations where they just wasn't prepared to see me sick. See me well is one thing, to be able to do what you want me to do, but then when
Okay.
I can't, can you stay? And I think that is the biggest thing that you have to look into, is giving them scenarios and being like, can you handle this, and can you do this, and be able to hold them up to it, because they play with you. They be playing. They be
Mm.
acting like they gonna be there. They act like they gonna support you. And then when you really need them to show up for you, they don't.
Right.
So you just kind of gotta, it's not easy to navigate, because one, you don't want to be like that in front of anybody. You know what I'm saying? But and you want him to always see you beautiful. You want him to always see
Right.
you. You know what I'm saying? So when you're not like that, and he still tell you're beautiful and you're the love of my life, and I don't see anything else, like that's a important thing to have.
Mm. It is. It really is. Oh.
So that's just the journey of it being sick, you know what I'm saying? But then you still got life, you know what I'm saying? You still got bills, you still got responsibility. We both still have dreams and things that we trying to accomplish, and so making sure that we support each other
Mm-hmm.
and are able to make time for still our relationship. So it's just a lot to juggle, but at the same time, you just got to make sure that the person that you're choosing is for you
Yes.
all day, every day, you
Yes.
know?
Good. I love that for you.
That's why I say you gonna get there. I think I know, and sometimes it take longer than what we expect. You know what I'm saying? But once you devote yourself to God
Mm.
and give your life to that, and then that's the type of partner you're looking for. Cause I mean, you devote yourself to God, but then you still get you another bum. Like that's not gonna help. That just revert you back to what you was doing. You got to make sure that he's in line with where you are and where you're trying to go.
Yeah, that's real. That
So
that's real.
yeah.
Oof. This woman, she actually emailed me in the few times that I checked my email, but she emailed me, and I was like, I had been praying earlier that day. I was so sad, low key, because I've been going through my moods. And she wrote me a whole letter about the Heartbreak series that she saw on TikTok. She must be an older woman. I feel like she's at least in her 50s from what she was explaining. But she said, make room for your husband. And she's like, you need to start cleaning out your closet. Like, you need to make space for him, all that stuff. And I've heard that before, but I feel like in that moment, I'm actually currently doing that right now. But in that moment, I was like, okay, I feel like a part of me having faith and believing and trusting God is to trust that He will do these things for me. And in the meantime, I would say, be you. Like, don't try to look. I think a lot of people, especially on social media, you get wrapped up in the way other people do things. You want to emulate what you think might be a success for you, whatever. Just be you. If you, I'm trying to think, I'm trying to use an example. Like, when I first started coming on social media, I was not trying to be perfect. Like, I feel like a lot of my, I don't like to call them followers, a lot of my friends online were attracted to my story because I was
It
honest.
was real.
It was real.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be like, oh, every day is perfect. No, like, today was a hard day. Today, I felt like tearing the grass out of the ground, and I didn't, but I'm telling you that I wanted to. I would say, come as you are. You are you for a reason. So if you want to be an influencer, if you want to work with companies, you don't have to be cookie cutter. I feel like a lot of companies nowadays are looking for real. Like, no one wants that influencer that is just perfect, has a perfect body, and their hair is always perfect, and they have the perfect life. I mean, sure, I guess it feeds a um certain audience out there, but literally come as you. Get your phone out. If you don't have a camera, you don't have to have the latest camera. You don't have to have the latest filming equipment. Set your phone up. You might not even have a tripod. Set it up on some books or hold the phone in front of your hand and start recording. Someone's gonna see it, and if it's meant for you, you're gonna go as high as you want to go. And that's the only real advice I have. Did I answer that? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because
Okay.
I feel like that's what I've been sharing with a lot of other people is that you have to be authentic because I personally, because I'm a TV person, I don't want to see you made it already. Like, I want to see the journey of how you got there. Like, it's very inspiring to see where you started. Like, I remember a lot of people that are like big deals now. Like, I remember Issa from, Awkward Black Girl on YouTube until now she like on HBO. I remember Drake. Like, I remember when people first started, and to see them evolve is what I was interested in. I don't want to see the perfect person with the aesthetic background. Like, I want you to see my regular background the way I started. I want you to see how my sound quality was until now. You know what I mean? Like, now you see the way I do makeup, and then I might evolve. I'm gonna get some tips from you, and then
Yes.
but it's the
Yes.
journey of it that's more exciting than just seeing somebody already made and put together.
I agree with
Yep.
that. I agree with that. I love a good journey.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I forgot to bring up the whole flight attendant thing because I know that you get a lot of questions about that, and
I
like
do.
people may want to be able to, get into that. And how do you, travel even though you don't feel well? Is that flexible, or tell me about that.
So I have FMLA, thank God. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm able to I take a lot of time off. It's very tiring. It's doable. I know a few people that have different, not just lupus, but one of my good friends has sickle cell, and she's a flight attendant. But we both have FMLA. A lot of us flight attendants have FMLA because when you're sick, they don't care. They just want you to come in, and they will fire you real quick. For
Mm.
yeah, they give you chances, but they don't play about attendance. So they kind of force even people that don't have autoimmune diseases or any disease for that matter to get FMLA because they will let you go. Like one of the reasons I have FMLA with my job now is because maybe this time last year, I was this close to being fired. Like I literally, they called me into the office and they were like, so we gotta have a talk. You've been calling
Mm.
out for weeks at a time, and you can't do that if you call out one more time. Because we have a point system. If you call out one more time, we gotta let you go. And so my the union was like, Brittany, we highly suggest you get an FMLA. And I had it before, but when the pandemic hit, I feel like that messed
Yeah.
a lot of us up, and so I never renewed it. But that's one way that I tell anybody who wants to be a flight attendant, get you some FMLA. Once you qualify for it, because I think you got to be with the job for at least 6 months to a year. But do that. I actually work tomorrow. It's tiring to fly, but I make sure that I pack my little lunch. I try not to eat too much airport food because it's crappy, and I try to make sure I get a lot of rest. And I'm honest with my coworkers. If I'm feeling down that day, I'm like, listen, I have lupus. Not trying to use it as an excuse because some people will think it's an excuse, but I'll tell them like I don't feel well today. So and they usually like, oh, we got you.
So you don't travel with the same people. Sometimes it's with different people.
Yeah, it's usually with different people. Like you'll probably never fly with the same crew twice. Yeah.
Wow. I
A lot of times when
never.
you're on the plane, we're probably meeting each other for the first time. A lot of the flights.
Really?
Or maybe we've
Hmm.
flown together years prior, but it's never the same like group of people unless you're like super senior. I'm talking about like 40 years on the job and you get to hold Rome and you work with the same 8 people on the plane. But usually, like the people I'm flying with tomorrow, I don't know those people. Like, but by the end of the trip, we'll probably be like this because that's how it always is.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, one more question.
No, ask as many questions as you need.
when did you think that you could do it? You know, like when you started like showing your scars and everything like that, like what made you feel like, okay, I could really like do this. I can make something out of this. Like when, like, was it other people hitting you up that made you feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Or like what, it's a lot of questions in one. What are you really trying to aim for within this like social media thing? Like, is the wig influencing like your main focus, and like you do like what? Because I know you mentioned shifting into something else. So like, what is it that?
I would really, really, really love to do just lifestyle. Like, I don't just want to focus on hair, and I feel like I kind of gotten pushed into that a little bit. I want to talk about dating, motherhood, going to the doctor, everyday life. Like, I want to talk about that, and kind of just highlight life with lupus. You know, I what am I trying to say? I want to showcase my life. It's kind of like, this is my life. I just so happen to have lupus, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I've been struggling with a little bit. Well, not so much now, but last year I really struggled really bad with being pushed into just hair content. And I started to feel guilty, even though it's what pays my bills now. But I started to feel guilty because a lot of my friends online, they didn't start off by me just talking about hair. A lot of times I was just coming on there and just talking about whatever. And now here I am saying, oh, hey guys, you should really buy this wig. When, yeah, that's fine and dandy, but I want to talk about other stuff. I want to talk about how I went on this date, or I want to talk about how my son be having me running around all over the place, or I want to talk about my flight attendant life. So I've been trying to like make a schedule where like I haven't incorporated it yet, but I might try to do like flight attendant Fridays and show me going to the gym on Thursdays, and maybe talk about something else on Wednesdays, and just rotate it out so people kind of get used to me showcasing my entire life. That about even dating, like you have to learn to love yourself, and I think that that's why I forced myself to go out for my birthday, and do birthday dinner, and sit there and be uncomfortable, because I was so uncomfortable. I actually cried a little bit in the car driving, and I started talking to God. And then when I got to the restaurant, like they gave me this big table by myself, and I just imagined God sitting next to me. And I just was
Hmm.
like, okay, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. I'm still going to celebrate myself. I love myself, because one thing that I've always struggled with is finding happiness with myself.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to find happiness when I got a man and I'm just so wrapped up in him. But I'm like, Brittany, are you happy when you're alone? No. Are you happy when you're sitting here by yourself? No. Are you happy when you don't have a man on your line all the time? No. So you need to figure out how to be happy without all those other things happening. And so that's what I've been really trying to learn. So when you were speaking about the whole dating stuff, I'm like, wow, like that spoke to me. Like, I needed to hear that, because I still struggle with that. I still struggle with, like, just the other day I was crying to God, and I called myself being angry with God, like, God, um
Don't rush it.
yeah.
Don't rush it. Cause one thing I do miss is being by myself.
Do you?
not,
I hear
not,
that so
not.
much.
No, not like in the relationship part of it, but just alone time by myself.
Like
You
having
know what
your
I'm
own,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah, because it's like baby, and then him, and then other people, and then like I miss just being able to sit in my room.
Wow. You know what? My best friend says that all the time. And I'm like, what? And she's like, no, like she has a key to my place. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, meet me at my house. I'm running out. And one day I came in and it was just, I walked in, it was silent. She didn't have a TV on. She didn't have nothing on. And I said, what are you doing? She said, is this what it feels like to just
Have a peace of mind, just your mind, just your thoughts, not mommy, can you juice,
mm,
mama, can you fix my hair, can you do this, babe, I love you, I want to be, I love you. It's just like, woo. I mean,
yeah.
you appreciate it and you love it, but there isn't a lot of time to just be alone, like I said.
Like, thank you for having me on your show. Like, this is gonna go far. I don't know anybody else who is interviewing, especially Black women. Like, we need a space. Women of color, like, we are overlooked a lot of times when it comes to just
Anything. Just the fact,
anything.
yeah, like we
Yeah,
just black.
because we black, and they're like, girl.
Yeah.
And our stories need to be heard and they need to be taken serious. And you just doing this, like, this is awesome. And I hope that you go so far that this is like a syndicated show. I swear. I'm like, have we been friends in another lifetime? Because I wanted to be, when I was growing up, I loved Wendy Williams. I wanted to be like Wendy Williams.
Hey, love her still to this day. That was one of my girls now.
To this day,
I hate
okay?
what's happening to her. Hate it. I don't know if you know, but I hate it.
She's went through a lot these last couple of years, and I pray for her because that's she paved the way for a lot of people. And I feel like sometimes she doesn't get the respect and the acknowledgement that she deserves. But I same with you, like God gave me a vision, even with my, and it looked different than what I thought it would be. Like when I started my heartbreak journey, I'm like, why would I record that? Why would I put that business out there? And a lot of people, like, I mean, people say mean things to you online. That's just
Mm-hmm.
what it is. But it was really hard at first because I'm like, why am I doing this? People are stitching my videos, calling me all types of stupids, all types of dumbs. Yeah, like it was bad. It was bad at first.
I forgot that they could do that. You
Yeah,
know
it was bad at
what?
first, like to the point where I think after that week 4 video, not even think, after that week 4 video, I released another video saying that I wasn't gonna record any more videos. I was done. And my sister was like, didn't you tell me that like you felt like God told you to do this? I was like, yeah. And she's like, so then why do you care what people have to say? Not everyone's gonna like you. And I was like, all right. And that's when I started doing it. And then it just transformed into what my life is now, where I can talk more about lupus and more about the things that really matter to me. And I'm just, life have, like, God be showing out. He really does. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful.
And that's the thing. Just your belief. Who
Mm-hmm.
you think you are. Because it's like, not that God owes you anything, you know what I'm saying? You know, he's your child. You're his child, so he's going to take care of you. It's just so that's the faith, you know, that, and you have to trust that it's not gonna come when you want it. It's gonna be right on time. And like, there are so many times that I've just worried about money so much. And child, he be coming through. And I just be like, why was I even worried in the first place? Like, why did I have any doubt? Why was I stressed out when I already know he was gonna show up?
Already knew it.
So that's why I suggest to just keep that bond going, strengthen it, focus
Yeah.
on you, and your person is working on him. You know what I'm saying? And because you don't want nobody working on them. Shot. Because then you end up with a whole project. Because you know so much, and then you be like trying to help. And that was one thing that Iana said yesterday or the day before yesterday. She said, there's a difference between helping somebody and supporting them.
Mm. Mm.
And I said, sis, what you said?
Okay.
Let me.
That's real.
Because you don't think it's a difference, really. And I can't verbatim say how she explained it, but I just remember that statement that stuck out to me. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it is a difference.
It is. Dang.
So
It's like such a small statement, but it's profound.
it
Like,
is.
wow. Yep, and I don't want any more Build-A-Bear men. I need my man. I mean, he's not gonna be perfect when he comes to me. I don't. He just needs to be perfect for me. Like I'm ready for that. But in the meantime, I'm enjoying life.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Peace. So I do have a question though, because
Yeah.
when you were dating, was it how did you go about introducing your first of all, when at point did you discuss your lupus diagnosis and like what you actually were dealing with, and then two, when did you introduce your son to them, or do you ever mix the two?
Um. So I've been single for over 10 years at this point.
Mm.
It's been a long time, but I have dated men. During that time, my son has only met 2 men that I've dated. And I've dated a lot. Okay, I've kissed a lot of frogs too. So, but I usually told them right away about my lupus diagnosis, probably within like the first couple of conversations. However, there's only one man that I ever dated that saw me bald, like face to face.
Mm-hmm.
I just started getting comfortable with being bald, and I credit that to I
The
attended
event.
the
Mm-hmm.
event. I
Girl, I
credit
told
that to
you,
the
I watch
event.
you. I
Yes,
watch you.
that right there changed it changed my life. Like I go to the gym bald now. But I feel like the next person I date, I want to show them that side of me. Because I think that that's important. I don't want you to just see me when I'm glammed up, have makeup on and my wig on. Like I need you to see me when my scars are out, and I want you to feel like I'm still beautiful, like see me as still being beautiful. And I want to lay next to you bald, and I don't want to feel like I have to hide parts of myself. So I don't think I haven't experienced that yet within dating. I haven't experienced um I'm not gonna cry. I haven't experienced any of that yet. So
Yes, that's the right word. Yes.
yet.
And like I said, you now that you're building up that confidence, you'll be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because what if he was the guy that would feel comfortable seeing you like that, but you wouldn't even show it? You know what I'm saying? So it's all part of the process.
Yeah,
It's
it
happening.
is.
It's unfolding right before you. You're just so anxious
I
to
know.
get it, but it's like just let it go.
Yeah,
And
it's
I can relate
comforting.
because that's my attachment style. So I
Mm-hmm.
understand.
Yeah.
I understand. All right. A huge thank you for coming through today. Your story is so inspiring, and I just appreciate you and your time.
Oh,
I
thank
just do.
you.
I do. And now
Thank
I
you
don't
so
have to
much.
like act like you're a stranger. I can actually call you
You
my
could just
friend.
text me, okay? Because you got my number now. Cause people be like, I DM'd you like months ago, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
I started noticing that some people don't answer their DMs. So if they have an email up, I just shoot their email up because
Yeah,
that's
because I think that
probably the
that's how
most professional. Mm-hmm. It's the most professional way, anyway.
because I'll check my emails, at least once a day. But my DMs, like I feel like sometimes I get overwhelmed very easily.
I figured that.
So I'll see something, but I'll just be like, okay. But if it's in my email, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is important. I mean, it might be
Right.
important on Instagram and TikTok too, but I'll be like, whoo.
Yeah, the way that I saw who you are to me, it just felt like you're an important person. You know what I'm saying? And you probably do have all kinds of DMs. Even if you post something and it goes into your story, like I'm pretty sure it's a lot that you got to cipher through. So I was like, let me email. That'd probably be better to catch her attention. So
Thank you for saying I'm an important person. I think that like, and I'm sure
we
you can.
all are.
We all are. Like, I feel like you can probably relate to this. Like, when somebody says to you, like, oh my gosh, like, you are really that girl. And I'll be like, okay, Brittany, I gotta start, like, I have to start saying thank you. Or instead of saying, like, oh no, like,
Yeah.
discounting
Mm-hmm.
myself. Like,
Yep.
no, we really are those girls. Like, you got a podcast. I'm on your podcast talking to you. Like, we are those girls.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like remembering who God said we was. Because I mean, of course, with lupus, you don't think that of yourself no more. It kind of over time just kind of like erases, because you're not the person you thought you used to be. You know what I'm saying? So that part of you is dead. It's like what you about to do with what you got now and
Right.
rebuild from there or elevate from there or it's I guess it's just the becoming of like who you were supposed to be or who you God said you was the whole time. It's just like coming into that. It takes some time, and sometimes it takes having lupus. Sometimes it takes bad breakups. Sometimes it takes all of that.
Okay.
But we get there and we end up getting the matters of our heart. So it's a win.
Amen. Amen.
Oh, all right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Lupus Speaks podcast. And I'm so happy to have talked to Brittany Smith, Miss Brittany Smith.
Thank you, sis. Thank you so much.
And I will be back with you guys next week. Bye.
As we wrap up another episode of Lupus Speaks, I hope you are leaving with renewed inspiration and a belief that dreams are attainable despite lupus or any chronic illness. Let's keep the conversation going by connecting with us at Lupus Speaks on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Please remember you are not alone on this journey and that your dreams are not defined by lupus. They're powered by your strength and determination. So until next time, you guys, peace and be intentional.